Alright, Shalom. First of all, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on the fact that at least 3 people were killed as Storm Amy batters Europe with strong winds and rain. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. Authorities in Ireland reported a man died in Letterkenny, northwest Ireland, in what police called a weather-related incident, while in France, at least 2 people were reportedly killed by the storm, local officials said on Saturday. As weather conditions began to slightly improve across northern Europe on Sunday after 3 people were killed over the weekend as Storm Amy raged across with strong winds and rain impacting critical infrastructure and disrupting power for tens of thousands. Authorities in the Netherlands lifted their nationwide code yellow warning after Amy led to the cancellation of hundreds of flights and ferry services. While in Scotland, authorities restored power to some 67,000 homes 2 days after the storm brought damage and disruption. Earlier, 2 men were reportedly killed by the storm in France, local officials said on Saturday, while authorities in Ireland reported a man died in Letterkenny on Friday in what police called a weather-related incident. Road, rail, and sea travel faced major disruption as the storm on Saturday walloped the UK and Scandinavia with heavy rain and high winds. London's famed royal parks shut their gates as Britain's Met Office weather agency gave updates on the weather after it recorded a gust of 154 kilometers per hour on Friday on the island of Tiree off Scotland's west coast. More than 200,000 homes in Ireland and Northern Ireland had been left without power, while in Scotland many ferry services were suspended and roads and railway lines were blocked by fallen trees. Approximately 21,000 houses were without power on Saturday, according to Scottish and Southern electricity networks, as workers worked in difficult weather. On Saturday afternoon, Storm Amy's powerful gusts, which claimed 2 lives in France, prompted parts of northern France to issue an orange alert. Storm Amy is moving across the British Isles, causing strong gusts of wind in the departments near the English Channel coast and in the northern inland departments of the country, French weather service Meteo France said. France's northern coast recorded its strongest wind since the beginning of the week, with gusts reaching 131 kilometers and up to 110 kilometers per hour inland. According to French authorities, 2 males ages 14 and 48 went swimming in the water on Saturday morning, which is close to La Havre, despite bad weather. The older man did not return to land, while later in the afternoon a large tree branch fell onto a vehicle that had been driving on a road in the northern ice region, killing a 25-year-old man. Up to 5,000 Normandy homes were without power on Saturday morning due to the storm, according to power supplier Edenus, or Edenus. The number decreased by 2,000 by noon, but since then more outages have been reported. In Belgium, Storm Amy was also clearly felt, causing some damage with strong winds of speeds reaching over 100 kilometers per hour. As a result, authorities declared a code orange weather warning for the entire country on Friday. As a precaution, the breakwaters in Ostend will be closed for the entire weekend, officials said, while also announcing that telephone number 1722 for non-urgent requests for assistance from the fire brigade had been activated. Amy also wreaked havoc on Sweden, Denmark, and Norway from late Friday into Saturday. Tens of thousands of homes lost power as strong gusts brought down trees and power lines throughout Scandinavia as heavy rainfall and high tides pummeled the coastal areas. Roofs were blown off houses, trees fell, and over 100 roads were closed in Norway, where extreme amounts of rainfall are now expected. Emergency officials said they expected the Vestfold coast to experience the strongest winds before it calms down. It will continue to blow strongly in Trøndelag, Møre-og Romsdal, and Nordland through the day. In parts of Vestfold and Telemark, it is expected that Amy will bring up to 100 millimeters of rain in 12 hours. As of Saturday morning, around 120,000 households were left without electricity, mostly in Trøndelag, Agder, and Vestland, according to a count by NRK, the Norwegian broadcaster. Strong winds and heavy rain were recorded on Saturday across southern and central Sweden. The Swedish Meteorological and Hydrological Institute issued orange alerts for the west coast, the southern coast and the Skagerrak area. Out at sea off northern Holland, hurricane force gusts have already been recorded. In addition, several yellow warnings are in place for large parts of the country. Storms with the potential to cause serious disruption or damage are given names jointly by the UK, Irish, and Dutch weather agencies. The current storm called Amy is the remnant of Hurricane Humberto, which formed over the Atlantic last week. Yeah, so those people out there in, basically the UK and the different parts of the UK are getting hit hard with these storms and tempests. And 3 people have already been killed. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Right, so those 3 people who died were visited by the Lord's spirit of vengeance in the form of death. A death angel was sent upon them. Deuteronomy 32:39, see now that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And through his daily judgments, the Lord does wound and kill people all over the world, men, women, and children, because the Lord is no respecter of persons, and these wicked people have to reap what they've sown. 1 Samuel 2:6, the Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. And like I said, through his spirits of vengeance, the Lord does kill many people on a daily basis in various ways. And he's going to continue to do that. Job 4:7, remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And the answer is that no one has ever perished being innocent. Not a man, not a woman, not a child has ever perished from being innocent. Because the level of judgments that the Lord brings upon these people is because they're wicked and because they angered the Lord and provoked him unto wrath. That's why they get hit with the judgments that they do. It says, or where were the righteous cut off? And the Lord has never cut off the righteous. He chastises the righteous, but he never cut them off. Verse 8, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And that's what's taking place. All of these people that are getting put to death, they're just reaping what they've sown. You know, they angered the Lord, and now they have to deal with the consequences of it. And in a lot of cases, the consequence manifests in their death. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And for those three people, it was their time to die. And there's going to be many more people that are going to die all over the world via the many forms of judgment of the Lord. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And that's what the Heavenly Father is visiting the UK and all those other areas with, storms and tempests. That has killed people, that has caused trees to fall, that has caused power outages, that has ripped the roofs off of homes. It just caused a lot of chaos. Isaiah 28:2, behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And in certain parts of the UK, there have been flooding. And like I said, the roof of homes have gotten torn off, trees have fallen. There's been travel disruptions on railway lines and ferry services. Many flights have gotten canceled because the Lord is out there visiting with his storms and tempests. Psalms 11:6, upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and in horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. And when you look up the definition of tempest, it means a violent windy storm, usually in the form of a hurricane or a tornado. But those people out there in the UK and all the surrounding areas, they're getting hit with, powerful winds, like 110 kilometers per hour type winds. So they are still being visited with, a powerful windy storm. It's just not in the form of a hurricane. It's just what they refer to as Storm Amy. Psalms 83:14, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's clearly what's happening. Out there in the UK and the surrounding areas, the Lord is making those people afraid with his storm. That's why flights got canceled and ferry services got canceled and all the different events that were supposed to be taking place over the weekend had to be canceled because they didn't want people outside. They didn't want people out and about during, the powerful storm that's taking place that has already claimed the life of 3 people. And once this storm passes, at some point the Lord is going to send another storm. And it may very well be even more powerful and more destructive and more deadly because that is the time and season that we have entered into. Like it says in 2 Timothy 3 and 1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And you look up the definition of perilous, it means full of danger or risk. And seeing as we're living in the last days, there is nothing but danger out here. That's why those of us of the hopeful elect have to stay prayed up and stay circumspect. Because you just never know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen and how bad it's going to be. That's all in the hands of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters out there, just stay locked in because it only gets more intense and dangerous and deadly from here. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakudash, the water Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and shalom to all the sincere believers. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Ottawa and Ratazah. Until next time, shalom.